Hello friends, how are you? Hope you are fine. Today we are going to talk about important and most important topic in Vedic astrology, that is SADI, isn't it? So before proceeding, let us know why people have been, feared, why such fear has been created that SADI creates many problems in the lives of people. Uh, Scientifically it has been proven that it has been proven and it has been observed that sadisati is not a fear at all for all zodiac signs. Then why this fear? Now the traditional writers, what they have written, that every person gets, every person gets 7.5 years, isn't it? 7.5 years of his life. That is 2.5 is the transit period of Shani, and this is into 3, isn't it? 3, it becomes 7.5 years, isn't it? Now before proceeding, we must know why what is sadisati, and why it is said that every person gets 7.5 years of his life under sadisati. He or she has to face sadisati. Now the primary point that has been, that is the base behind sadisati, is the Saturn has been, has been considered a malefic planet for all, ascendants. Now here the main point arises, the main reason, the main cause is that Saturn, the Shani, has been considered malefic for all ascendants, whereas it's not correct. It's not correct. The definition of sadisati is that when when Saturn transits 12th house, 12th house, isn't it? Then it will transit first house, then it will transit second house. So when it enters in the transit, when Saturn enters 12th house, this is the first phase of sadisati for a person. For every person, he has to see this. He might be Aries, he might be Taurus ascendant, he might be Gemini ascendant, but this is nothing but a nonsense. I'll prove it. I'll show you how it is incorrect to define sadisati in this context, and to create a fear among the people regarding sadisati 2023, because Saturn transit has taken place on 18th Jan 2023, and it will persist for 2.5 years. Now the fact is that the fear that has been created is a myth, and people are being deceived, and in order to earn money, in order to loot people, and in order to charge many things people, and all such factors, they are responsible, and these things are done in the name of sadisati, whereas in the reality it is observed and it has been found scientifically that whatever has been written regarding sadisati is completely wrong, The aim of this channel is to open the eyes of the people who require answers to their questions regarding burning topics in Vedic astrology, and sadisati is one among them. So my aim is here to create awareness, isn't it? Scientific, it is scientific, scientific awareness, regarding, regarding Vedic astrology. because many myths are there. You can't understand that myths, you can't know the reality when you are not being made aware by someone else. So the purpose of this video is to make you aware about the reality of sadisati, what it is it for all ascendants, is it for few ascendants? If it is for few ascendants, then why it is not for others? Why it is for only few ascendants? What is the reason? I will be clear throughout the video. Watch this video till the end so that the concept is clear to you forever, and you will not be able to be feared and to be feeling like dangerous something else, given the sadicity of Shani. So this is one thing that I have discussed. Now first point that arises that sadicity, we scientifically it has been found that sadicity, that is 7.5 years, isn't it? 7.5 years, not true. It's not true that 7.5 years you will face a worst phase in your life. No, you may face it for 3 years, net 3 years, but there are remedies. These 3 years also you won't be able to face, isn't it? Remedies are there, charities are there, charities for Saturn, isn't it? Charities are there which you can make use of, which you can do propitiatory measures for Saturn so that you will not face. Now the question arises that scientifically only for 3 zodiac signs, this sadicity, it's not 7.5 years, it's just a terminology, it's a malefic influence. Sadicity scientifically means malefic transit, malefic influence of Saturn. This is the scientific definition of sadicity. Transit malefic influence of Saturn, isn't it? Whenever there appears, takes place the malefic influence of Saturn in your chart, from transit to natal chart, or from transit to transit, or from natal to transit, it's called triple transit. We will discuss it in another video. So transit malefic influence of Saturn, it's called sadicity, but it's not 7.5 years. The scientific definition is transit malefic influence of Saturn. When Saturn impacts you malefically, it is called malefic influence of Saturn, which traditionalists have said that it is sadicity, which is not the reality. Now only for 3 zodiac signs, 3 zodiac signs, or 3 ascendants, isn't it? 3 ascendants, this sadicity has been defined. I'm using the term because it has been used traditionally in order to make you clear, in order to clarify you. First is Cancer ascendant. Cancer ascendant is the one. Then number 2 is Virgo ascendant, and number 3 is Pisces ascendant. These are the 3 signs. Number is the 4th sign, it is the 6th sign, and it is the 12th sign, isn't it? It is the 6th, it is the 4th, and it is the 12th. As per scientific Jyotish, these 3 signs will face sadicity, the so-called sadicity, but it won't be the period of 7.5 years, not at all. It may be 2.5 years, isn't it? It may be 2 years, And I will clarify this point. What I am saying, that it may be 2 years, it may be 1.5 years, isn't it? It may be less than that, because scientifically things are different. When we say mythologically, it's not, it's just a myth. Scientifically it has no base at all. What in what sense this is defined, you might have seen another many videos on Shani Sadasati, this and this. They are not scientifically true, they are incorrect, illogical. And you also see practically what I am saying, that will be 100% correct, because this is a research of years, what has been found and what I am discussing with you in this video. Now, only these signs, Cancer Lagna, Karak Rashi, Kanya Rashi and Meen Rashi, these three signs, they face this type of malefic influence from Saturn. Why? Because these are the three signs for which Saturn is malefic. Saturn is malefic, has been considered scientifically malefic for Cancer ascendant. It has been considered malefic for Virgo ascendant, and it has been considered malefic for Pisces ascendant. These are the three ascendants for which the Saturn has been considered as malefic. So when the planet is malefic, it won't give benefic results. It is the logic, isn't it? Now the traditionalists, they would say that Saturn is malefic for all the ascendants. Therefore they defined Sadasati for all ascendants, which is incompletely wrong, which is incompletely incorrect, unscientific. In the practical world, what has been found and what has been observed, that only these three zodiac signs, only these three lagna, Cancer ascendant, Virgo ascendant and Meen Rashi, that is Pisces ascendant, for these three ascendants Saturn has been proven, has been observed to be malefic. So it will have Saturn will have malefic influence for these three ascendants. The other ascendants, Aries, Taurus, Capricorn, Aquarius, all the 9 ascendants besides these 3 ascendants, they won't face the 9, isn't it? 9 zodiac signs. 0, isn't it? 0 Sadisati of Saturn. Why? Because for them Saturn is benefic planet. Saturn is benefic planet, so they won't face at all. At all, they won't face. They won't face. They won't face. You know, Sadisati of Saturn at all, because for these 9 zodiac signs, besides these, Cancer, Virgo, and Pisces, for these zodiac signs, Saturn has been observed, to be a benefic planet. It will result in good things, positive things when the center, whatever may be the transit of Saturn. If it is in Aries, if it is in, in any sign. Although in the malefic houses the results don't get fructify, the significations of Saturn for these 9 signs, they don't get fructify, but they don't create problem at all. That is the point. That is the point. Now let us move ahead. These 3 signs, Sadisati has been defined, and it's not in the context of that 7.5 years will be faced by them. No, it's wrong. Now let us move ahead. Let me explain more things. Now among these 3 signs, that is Cancer ascendant, that is Virgo ascendant, and that is Pisces ascendant. The aim of this channel is to create scientific awareness regarding Jyotish, because myths have been created, people are being deceived, people are being frauded in the name of astrology, whereas that has no scientific base. The world is of research nowadays, the 21st century. Myths won't do a job. Myths won't resolve your problems. You need to be scientific, isn't it? Otherwise you'll face worst in your life. If you start following myths, you should follow what has been scientifically truth, not that which is incorrect, which is a myth. Now among these 3 zodiac signs, these have been defined that Saturn is malefic for these three ascendants. Among these three ascendants, the Saturn is most malefic planet, most malefic. I am explaining or in sequence. Number one, most malefic you know planet for what? For Cancer ascendant, for Cancer. Number two, it is then in sequence. I am firstly, it is most malefic for Cancer ascendant, then most malefic, isn't it, planet for what? Planet for Pisces. Then number three, it is malefic planet for, it's malefic planet for Virgo. So if any of the Virgo, he has put Neelam, the gemstone for Saturn, in his middle finger, in his or her middle finger, it's recommended that he or she must remove blue sapphire given the transit of Saturn that has taken place. And whatever may be the transit, these three zodiac signs, they can't wear blue sapphire at all, because it will create problems in their lives. And the extent of problems that become evident in one's life, in many fields of your life, they vary, because the spread of planets across your horoscope, that is different. Jupiter might be in the second house of any chart. It might be birth chart, I mean to say. It might be in the 12th house of any birth chart. It might be in the 4th house of any chart. So the spread of planets across horoscope, that varies. That's not same, never. So this is the sequence. Now the transit Saturn will create more problems, extreme problems for Cancer ascendant, isn't it? It will create problems for Cancer ascendant. Accordingly, then in sequence, it will create problems for Pisces ascendant. Then it will create problems for Virgo ascendant. These are the three ascendants who will face. Now let me illustrate you what I am saying. For example, let us create a chart here. Let us draw a chart. I'll make you aware about the basic things, because I don't want people will follow myths. This is my aim, to make people aware about the reality, in order that they won't follow any myth at all. So for that, awareness is the first step. What I am saying, you'll see practically. You won't find any mismatch between what you observe, and what I am saying. Now this is a chart. This is transit, for example, transit chart. This is, let us take, is a transit chart. Now it is for example Cancer ascendant, isn't it? So Saturn is here, transit Saturn is here. Currently it is here. And Jupiter is here, transit Jupiter, isn't it? And Rahu is here, transit Rahu. And transit Ketu is here. Now try to understand what I am saying. This is, for example, Cancer ascendant chart. Saturn is in your 12th house. Now the first merit of this transit, isn't it? Merit of transit 2023 of Saturn, isn't it? of Saturn is that it is entering Aquarius sign. Aquarius, isn't it? Aquarius sign its own house. So Saturn won't destroy its own house. It means that the significations of this house, this eighth house, that they will be saved. They will be safeguarded to the more extent, because Saturn is entering its own house. It is malefic in this chart, but it won't create such problems for this native. Why? Because this Aquarius sign is prime house, isn't it? So it won't create any problems to such an extent as has been explained by the traditionalists, that this will create this problem, this will create that problem. That does not give the same good result at all. Now I want to show you main thing that I have to focus on. This is, for example, let me have see, for example, Saturn will impact you. For example, when you open your horoscope on a software, you will see ASC like this. Then you see, for example, 10 or 10.5, let us say 10, isn't it? You will see 10. So this is the ascendant degree, the Lagna degree, isn't it? This is the Lagna degree, and this Lagna degree will play a pivotal role, a primary role in the malefic influence of Saturn on your chart. If you are Cancer ascendant, if you are Virgo ascendant, and if you are Pisces ascendant. For example, when you were born, your ascendant degree, your Lagna degree was 10 degrees, or 10 degrees 0.5, 10 degrees 5 minutes. Let us assume here that it was 10 degrees, isn't it? Now what is the application of this Lagna degree? This Lagna degree will make you able to know, isn't it? It will enable you to know the malefic influence when this malefic influence will be pronounced in your life. For example, Saturn is currently it is of 0 point something, 0.1, I remember 0.1, for example, like of this degree, because it's the recent transit of Saturn in Aquarius. So you might see that Saturn is here, isn't it? It's here in this Aquarius sign. It's here 0.1, because the whole zodiac sign is of 30 degrees, and in these 30 degrees Saturn has entered 0.1, isn't it? Now the main point is that these transit influence will operate in plus minus 5. Note down this, because all are educated, you need to know the reality. Plus minus 5, I'll write again, it's plus minus 5. What does this mean? If this is Lagna of 10 degrees, if this is ascendant of 10 degrees, this is the scientific base. You will face the problems for Saturn when Saturn is 10 minus 5 is 5, 10 plus 5 is 15. It means when Saturn is between these three, isn't it? Saturn in degrees is greater than 5, but less or equal to 15. In this range you will face problems for Saturn. In this range only you will face problems from Saturn. When Saturn is 6 degrees, isn't it, you will face problem. When Saturn is 16 degrees, you won't face any problem at all. When Saturn is 4 degrees less than 5, isn't it, you won't face any problem in your life, because impact won't be pronounced at all. This is the scientific base which I am trying to impart to you, which I am trying to convey to you what is the reality regarding such nonsensical myths that have been created since long, because people won't consider whatever traditionalists have said. For example, what I am saying, it is the scientific base, isn't it? It's not that I may be wrong. I am correct. I am confident in what I am saying. Why? Because this has been scientifically proven. Now this person, this person, he will face the problem from Saturn. When Saturn becomes 5 degrees, and from 5 degrees to 15 degrees, problem will persist. So it's recommended, same will happen in case of Virgo ascendant and Pisces ascendant. So it won't be, for example, in case of Pisces ascendant, I will explain uh, in a few minutes. It's not that this has been defined like that. For example, when Saturn becomes 5 degrees, this will create problems for this more than 5.5, for example. The problems of Saturn will set in for this person, so it will create impediments or obstructions, obstructions obstructions in professional life, for crescent for professional life. For Cancer ascendant, I am saying, for Cancer ascendant, I am saying it will lead to, if the person is married, it may create problems in marriage, isn't it? Marital. So there will be chances of matters about divorce, about separating from each other, marital issues, isn't it? But it will operate in this range, greater than 5 degrees, greater or equal to 5 degrees, less or equal to 15 degrees. It will operate in plus minus 5 degree of this, taking into consideration the Lagna degree. This Lagna degree, it will be different for each and every person, and it is different for each and every person. It's never same for any person except the twins. Now the problem is that it will create, when the Saturn becomes more than 5 degrees or 5 degrees, the problem in Saturn, it will create problem in the professional life, and it will create problem in family as well, in wealth. Second house is the house of marriage as well, and it will create problem with respect to romance, with respect to higher education, isn't it? If one is pursuing higher education and he's a Cancer ascendant, and Saturn start impacting him in the given range, plus minus 5 range, he might face these kind of problems. Now let us take the example of, here in this case, it's not the SADE as it has been defined with respect to 12th house, first house, and second house. Now let us move ahead. Now see, let us take this type of chart, isn't it, in order to illustrate you properly. It's acceptable that it starts from 12th house, but the question is, now let us see that this is Pisces ascendant chart. Now Pisces ascendant Saturn is here, isn't it? Pisces ascendant Saturn is here, and Jupiter is here in the Lagna, transit Jupiter, and this is transit chart again, transit chart again. Now this is transit chart again. Transit Saturn is in the 12th house, then it will transit in first house, then it will transit in second house. Now the question arises, the Saturn is not the most malefic planet for transit for Pisces ascendant, not at all. It is the most malefic for Cancer ascendant. But with respect to this chart, let us assume that the ascendant degree for is 15 degrees, isn't it? The horoscope has risen, the horoscope has risen at 15 degrees. The Lagna degree, the ascendant degree is 15 degrees. Now currently Saturn is of 0 point something degrees. It won't create any problem at all. See the nonsense. I am just astonished to what extent people are being cheated, people are being frauded in the name of SADE. where the reality is different. It's extremely different. Now this is the ascendant degree, that is of 15 degrees, and Saturn is currently of 0 degrees. So the Saturn malefic influence of Saturn will start operating in plus minus 5, isn't it? Plus minus 5. It means that Saturn greater or equal to 10 degrees and less or equal to 20 degrees. This will be the range for this person of Pisces ascendant, and same will happen when Saturn enter first house, when it enter second house. The effects will be pronounced. Isn't it? Pronounced in this range, in this range that I have written for this Pisces ascendant. So the person has to see for how much time this range will operate, and that will be the time period in which the person will face problems due to Saturn. So he might face when this Saturn becomes of this degree, 10 degrees, then 11 till 20. This will be the time period. This time period maybe it may be of a year, it may be of 1.5 years, isn't it? In this period, if Saturn becomes retrograde, for example, in these degrees, so it might take a long period. That's why I am saying that it will depend to what extent each person of these three ascendants he will face problem. It depends. It may be of 1 year, it may be of 1.5 year, because amid Saturn may become retrograde, isn't it? And it will depend what is the degree of your ascendant. That will determine the time period in which you will face the malefic influence of Saturn. So it will orbit, it will influence, malefic influence will be evident in your life in plus minus 5. And it's again incorrect to say that it will create equal problems for for all ascendants. See how, for example, this is the second house of Pisces ascendant. This is second house is ruled by Aries. So if Mars of this person is 100% strong, isn't it? 100% strong, Saturn won't create such problems. Try to understand. If, for example, this is the sixth house, this is ruled by Sun. If Sun is malefic in this case, but if Sun is 100%, 100% strong, and it does not give any affliction in the birth chart, neither from birth to natal, from neither natal to birth chart. Now in this case, Saturn will afflict sixth house also, but it won't create such problem for this native, because the lord of the sixth house is strong. It won't create such problems. Now this is the house, this is ruled by Venus. This is Libra in case of Pisces ascendant. If Venus is strong, it's well placed, it does not give any affliction in the birth chart, isn't it? Again, the impact of Saturn, from the 10th aspect of Saturn in this range, it won't create such problems for this native, because his Venus is strong. Venus is malefic for in this concept, but the significations of Venus for this person, they'll be safeguarded because Venus is strong. Medically, he'll benefit from Venus. In other, so far as this 8th house is concerned, is the malefic house. There is no doubt it is a malefic house, but there are positive significations also. The importance of 8th house in the astrology is quite important. We can't ignore that. Similarly of 12th house and 6th house as well. So it will depend on these factors as well. If you are a Pisces ascendant, your natal Mars is weak, you will face problems whenever this range of Saturn that I have mentioned, plus minus 5, given the Lagna degree, the ascendant degree of your horoscope into consideration, taking that into consideration, you will face problems. Definitely you will face losses, and you'll see financial losses in your family, losses in your status, losses in your professional life. You may lose your career if you are a Pisces ascendant in this transit, but it will happen in this range. Try to understand. Now You have to strengthen your planets accordingly, that are quite important. You can strengthen Mars if it's weak, and it has to be seen whether you have to use Quora or not, uh, through a consultation by an astrologer. But a scientific based astrologer, having a scientific base, because I have myself seen that how many people, number of people, they have been deceived on the basis of myths in the name of sadicity of Shani and other illogical, unscientific and nonsensical concepts. They have been a world of fear has been created among them, that you will face the worst in 7.5 years of your life. No, that's not correct. That's completely incorrect, and that is what I am trying to make you understand, that come out of this myth, come out of this, because client is facing the problem. Ultimately it is the client who faces the worst. It's not the astrologer. What he has to do, astrologer says that you will face this, but what is the reality that will have to be faced by the client himself or herself? That is the main issue. That's what I'm saying. Now what to do? Let me talk of the remedies. You'll open your open a software, for example astrosage software is there, isn't it? Software, or there are many softwares. You can find that, because now everyone is educated, everyone is literate, he can read things, do things as it's guided to him or her. Now you can rather put your birth details, DOB, date of birth, place of birth in that, isn't it? And time of birth accordingly. You'll enter and you will see your ascendant degree, lagna degree. You'll see lagna degree. If it is 15 degrees, you were born in 1885, you were born in 1870. If the lagna degree is 15, it means plus minus 5, it means 10, isn't it? 10 to 20. So this is the range where Saturn will start impacting you malefically. You will face problem for Saturn when Saturn becomes more than 10 degrees. It is when Saturn will create problems for you, transit Saturn, when it becomes 10 degrees in Aquarius. So it will create problems from 10 degrees to 20 degrees. Now if it is 9 degrees, it won't create any problem. It won't create any problem at all. Influence will be there, but that influence will not get evident in your life. Similarly, the impact will be pronounced, it will be evident in this range, plus minus 5. You have to see your lagna degree, and accordingly you can see when you are going to face the problem from malefic Saturn, whether you are Pisces ascendant, whether you are Cancer ascendant, whether you are Virgo ascendant. You will face the problem in this range only. Now this is the sadicity and myth that I have unleashed, that I have you know explained to you, exposed this myth before you. What is the myth of sadicity? It's not the sadicity at all, it is the malefic influence of Saturn, not anything else, and it will operate in this range of plus minus 5 given your lagna degree, because this operates in orbit of plus minus 5. Orbits play an important role in Vedic astrology, extremely important role, and this point has been rejected by traditionalists. But we have not to see what they have rejected and what they have accepted. That's not the point. The point is the scientific base. If you are scientifically okay or not, if your point is scientifically okay or not, isn't it? What is the truth? What is truth that has to be accepted? What is incorrect? What is a myth? You need to reject that, you need to deny that, because that will be of no avail for you. And same has been happening since years, and you might have watched many videos that talk about Shani Sadasati in the case of in the light of nakshatras and all that. The truth is that your birth chart, that's Kundali, that is the final thing that you face all your problems that are evident in your Kundali, in your birth chart, in your natal chart. Natal chart. The logic is that if your nakshatra is positive, nakshatra base is strong, isn't it? If your moon lunar mansions, for example, what we call nakshatra, in the light of nakshatras you are okay, you are quite strong, but your birth chart is disturbed, you will be disturbed. Your birth chart is disturbed, you will be disturbed. So the primary importance is birth chart, your natal chart. Other things, they are not taken into consideration in Vedic astrology. Given the scientific Jyotish, this is not taken into consideration. Now another point I'll like to mention, the remedies you have to follow. Remedies is the charities for, if on Saturdays, for example, Saturdays you start doing charities for Saturn, isn't it? Charities for Saturn. You can Google what are, for example, what are different charities. Whatever you may be comfortable with, you can do that charity of. There are many. You'll see there are written many charities of Saturn. What are charities? Are dan for Shani or Saturn. You'll see many options there, and you can follow any of the options, whatever you feel is comfortable with you, and you'll do charities if you are able to do it correctly. If Saturn impact, if your Lagna degree is 4 degrees, then the impact has started, isn't it? If your Lagna degree is 4 degrees, if your Lagna degree is 3 degrees, the impact of, and you are Cancer or you are Virgo ascendant or you are Pisces ascendant, then the impact of Saturn has started increasing, has initiated in your life, isn't it? It will depend on your ascendant degree of your Lagna degree, isn't it? Now what to do? See, if you are, for example, Cancer ascendant, let us take this example here. Just make a small chart rather. Let me make things clear to you, isn't it? Only will be of 12 houses, but given the space of blackboard, I am trying to make you understand what the reality is. Now see, I'll if you are Cancer ascendant, your Saturn is here, transit Saturn, and when the Saturn arrives in the range, it is Virgo ascendant, your Saturn is here, and it is Pisces ascendant, your Saturn is transit Saturn is here. It's transit, isn't it? Transit. Saturn transit 2023. Now, no Saraswati concept. It is the impact of Saturn, malefic Saturn on you in the given range of plus minus 5. if Saturn is here, it will, for let me start with Cancer ascendant, your professional life will be disturbed in the given range. Professional life, be cautious to take any step regarding professional life, professional areas, isn't it? That is one. Your family, you will face obstructions. You have to be cautious. Don't indulge in such activities. Obstructions in wealth, accumulating wealth, isn't it? Accumulating wealth, obstructions and issues in family, obstructions in gaining status, or obstructions in professional life in the given range of plus minus 5. You have to be cautious regarding this, that because you will face these types of problems. So another thing is that if you are going to higher education, your higher education for Cancer ascendant, I am saying higher education, that might face obstructions. If you are involved in romance, for example, romance or love marriage, for example, that will be impact negatively in the given range. What will be the given range in your zodiac sign, isn't it? That will be impacted. This is for Cancer ascendant. Now for Pisces ascendant, for Virgo ascendant, you know you might get disputes in things of inheritance. One, your marital life disturbance, take into that consideration. And your expenses, and disputes. You will get into litigations with respect to foreign travel as well. Foreign travel, you'll get into disputes with respect to foreign travel as well. In the given range of plus minus 5, the impact will be pronounced in this range only. You have to see the Lagna degree accordingly, and you have to conclude accordingly what is the Lagna degree and what will be the impact on Kanya Rashi and Virgo ascendant chart. And your family life also. Now your business ventures, that will be in problem. You will not be able to, you will face litigations, disputes with respect to business ventures. You might not be able to take decisions, and you will face problem with respect to younger siblings, isn't it? Younger siblings, disputes with younger siblings as well, isn't it? This is the in case of Pisces ascendant. Now in case of in case of Pisces ascendant, issues and problems in in family. You may lose family member, you will lose wealth, isn't it? You will have issues in marital life, professional life as well, isn't it? And your losses and expenses will get involved into disputes, isn't it? Expenses in disputes, and you might face in the continuity of marriage, divorce. If 8th house lord is weak, then it will definitely happen. In this case, I have already explained that the 6th lord, 7th lord, any lord, that has to be strong in order to get safeguarded from the transit influence. So divorce problem, divorce issue may arise in this transit. So these are the different things that might take place, that will take place definitely, if your birth details are correct, and you have to face this. And in order to get safeguarded from this, you have to start charities of Saturn. And the traditional concept of sadhasati, that is just a myth, nothing else, that has no reality scientifically. And it has been observed that the impact of Shani is in the range of ±5, and it is only for 3 ascendants: Cancer ascendant, Virgo ascendant, and Pisces ascendant. And in these types of ascendants, it's also has been scientifically proven that it's not that these 3 zodiac signs will face the problem equally, because it will depend whether the lords of different houses that are being influenced by transit Saturn, they are strong. If they are strong in the nativity, then the person won't be able to face such type of problem from malefic Saturn, as has been said by the traditional astrologers, as has been written in the traditional astrological texts. That is wrong completely. And do comment, do subscribe the channel, and do share it, and do comment about the video, how you liked the video, and did you gain any knowledge from this video. And I'll be there in the coming time also with different such topics and their scientific base, in order to create an environment of awareness for the people, so that their life remains free of these myths, and they'll be able to enjoy their life happily. So thank you for this session. Thank you.